growing up and attending school was my white bucks. They were my favorite because they went with everything. At that particular time, we wore socks that were up to about the calf of your leg, and you had to clean them every night, so they were always spotless. They were very comfortable, and they had soul. Mostly every day. I also like loafers, the penny loafers, and I was the safety patrol, so we had a badge, and the attire was, you know, white shoes. And I also worked in the clinic, and not only did we just work there, we had to change into uniforms and actually wear a uniform when we worked that period. And we actually took temperatures and monitored the students that came in. We had safety patrols on the school buses, and they would hold the flag at the bus stop. When the bus stopped, you would go out and stop traffic by holding a flag, and the cars would stop. And then when it was all clear, the students had crossed the road and whatnot, you came back in and took your seat. And you also were responsible for keeping order on the bus, you know, because the safety patrols could report you to the office. And so you wanted to be respectful and quiet. I rode the school bus. I lived about 19 miles from the school, and it was this very school here that I attended from 1948 to 1959. It was based on your grade point average, and I and another student had the same average, so we were co-valedictorians, and so that's how we got the scholarships to Virginia State College, and so we had the highest grade point average. First day of college, I guess I was a little anxious. I'm kind of a homebody, and I hadn't stayed away from home a lot, but they were enjoyable years, kind of getting out and meeting other students. And my roommates were from Essex County, and I'm still in touch with them today. As a matter of fact, one of them came to visit me Memorial Day, and we had a great time reminiscing about our college days and whatnot. Yes, it was segregated at the time, and it means that it was a college for all black students, and that was basically it. They hadn't integrated. Well, that's kind of a hard question. And as I always told my sons, to be yourself. And that's my philosophy, to be myself. So I would just be myself and don't try to imitate anybody else. Just do what you were taught to do and what you believe in. When I was younger, we traveled a lot after I got married, and we went to D.C., New Jersey, New York, Delaware, Pennsylvania, mostly to visit relatives. And we also had the opportunity to go and visit the World's Fair in New York in the early 60s, and that was very exciting. And we saw some things and cars that would be available in the future, so it was an exciting event. Well, they're mostly what you see today, but back in the 60s, you know, you just didn't see all of those cars with the tops off and the different makes of cars. But it's pretty true to what we have today. Oh, I don't remember what I wore to the fair. I'm sure it was something comfortable that I could walk a great distance in and be comfortable. I guess the most memorable would be our level of respect for each other and for our teachers. The teachers led by example, and they dressed accordingly, which demanded respect. And when our principal, he was a very quiet and humble guy, when he walked out in the hallway, we would lower our voices and walk quietly, not because we were afraid of him, but because we respected him so much. And we were very competitive. We attended a lot of science and math fairs and conferences in other places, and we just enjoyed life. I think next to godliness, it's very important that you get a good education, because you need it. Now you can hardly get a job without a high school diploma. And so it is of utmost importance that you get as much education as you can, and never think that you're too old to learn, because it's a process, and I learn something new every day, and I appreciate it. To be all that you can be, respect your elders, respect the opinions of others, be loving, kind, and considerate of others, and not to give up on your goals, but strive each day to make the best that you can. I don't really know of any real challenges that I had. So I really don't know how to answer that. I know at one time I was kind of shy, but when I became valedictorian, I had to give the address, and the auditorium was filled with people, standing room only, and I did a good job. And so I guess that was the biggest obstacle that I had to face. In my immediate family, yes. Yes, I think so. As I stated before, I've always loved school and doing my very best. So I'm appreciative of having the opportunity to further my education and to get a decent job and to make a decent living. Oh, well, as I stated before, I worked here for 38 years, and I saw many principals, superintendents, teachers come and go. But it was a rewarding experience because I got to work with so many different people. And I worked alone for a number of years, and then they hired another person to work in the office. And I had to wear many hats. There were no counselors, no nurses, and I did a lot of transcripts and did the payroll for the cafeteria, and I had to count the money all in the front office. And unlike today, you wouldn't want to probably do that up front, but I didn't have a problem with it. I did all of that while taking care of the students that were coming in. And so it was a challenge, but it was rewarding. My greatest accomplishment was graduating at the top of my class, being able to attend college, and to find a job that I was interested in and that I loved. And now I have my own home, my family, and friends that I see from time to time. I have one grandchild and 2 sons. And while I was working here, I was here for so long that they named this very auditorium in my honor. And it is now called the Lillian Brooks Auditorium. And I'm just appreciative of that someone thought enough of me to give me that honor.